Councillor Perks.
Thank you. I felt it was important that I get up and talk on this issue because in my community this has been a very important issue, and it's in a part of the city where we did an experiment. A few years ago we were getting more than 3 liquor license applications a month along the stretch of Queen Street that goes through my ward. We were hitting the point where all the local uses were being pushed out. The hardware store was gone. One of the health food store was gone. A number of other mom and pop shops were just gone, and what was replaced was just bar after bar after bar after bar. And we were winding up with a circumstance where people from all over Canada would come into my neighborhood, all over Canada. There were Facebook sites about meeting up in Parkdale, and that's what my neighborhood was becoming. And our official plan speaks to this. It says specifically that among the functions that our avenues, our main streets, are supposed to achieve is to support the local neighborhood. That's official plan policy. That's the highest law in terms of planning rules that we operate under here in the City of Toronto. And thanks to the local community planner, the local community planner and I were out after a planning meeting with some members of the neighborhood talking about this problem, and he suggested a pathway which began with an interim control bylaw and then led to a cap on the concentration of bars in the neighborhood. And it's worked. It's worked. The nightlife has settled down a little bit, and we've managed to protect some of those important community uses. I also want to tell you that whenever I get a development application on a main street and set up a working group with the applicant and city staff and myself and some people from the neighborhood, after we've talked about parking, after we've talked about height, the next thing that always comes up is a desire to put something in the bylaw controlling the floor plate of retail. It is something that people in my community are passionate about. It's the bottom line, no compromise position they bring to the conversation with the developer. And that's because the identity of our neighborhoods is tied so closely to being able to walk out and buy your loaf of bread and milk on a Saturday morning with the same store owner who's been there for 20 years, knowing you can give your kids $10 to go out and pick up stuff for you, and the store owner knows them. That's part of how our neighborhoods function. And it's incredibly valuable, but because of the market conditions on real estate in the City of Toronto, it's at risk. It is absolutely at risk. Talk to anyone in the real estate industry, and they will tell you that the rental cost of a new retail unit is much higher because they have to defray all the construction costs and all the new fixtures and everything else that's gone in new. The rental cost of that is much higher than an existing floor plate of the same size. It is absolutely the case. That's why you'll see in so many of the new condominium buildings that they sit vacant for quite a while because it costs a lot to rent. You also have, as Councillor Cressy mentioned, the issue of highest and best use, increasing the taxes on these properties, which increase the rental cost on these properties, which are driving out the very things that make sure that our neighborhoods remain walkable. And that's another key piece. Every one of you who has ever raised an issue about how traffic is too congested in this city should be supporting Councillor Layton and Councillor Wong Tam. Because when we keep these local stores that are serving neighborhood rather than regional shopping functions, we have people do daily and local walking shopping. And that cuts down on the traffic. If you've noticed, rush hour now is a Saturday and a Sunday thing, right? That's because we don't have enough local stores that people go and meet those shopping needs in, and far too many of our neighborhood streets are turning into regional draws that are hyper-specialized. So, thank you, Councillor Wong Tam. If Councillor Layton were here, I'd thank him too. And I do want to underline that the best work I've seen on this has been from our community planning department. And I wish the chief planner were here so I could extend those thanks.